Yo, what's up? This is Derek Branch here, St. Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. And tonight we got a special guest with us tonight. We have the head reporter and managing editor of Saints News Network, Sports Illustrated, and HBCU Legends and Pelican Scoop, Mr. Kyle T. Mosley. Welcome to the show. How you doing,
What's
man?
going on, Derek? I have arrived, man. I'm hanging with you.
Yeah, doing pretty good, man. But we're just gonna go right into it. Talk about there's some recent news concerning the New Orleans Saints, and couple concerns and things of that matter. But the latest news, I guess we could relate it to the Saints, is that the Carolina Panthers recently made the move to acquire Browns QB Baker Mayfield in return for draft compensation, and
Right.
we all know the whole 9 yards of what's going on with that situation. But I just want to ask you, does that move, does anything to affect the Saints going forward as far as contention in the NFC South?
No, no.
You know?
I don't think so. Not immediately. I think Baker, number one, I think he's a gamer, number one. I do appreciate how he plays the game. He's a gritty young guy. Um, ever since he lost the opportunity at Texas Tech, Kingsbury didn't really help him out there.
Yeah.
He went to Oklahoma, right? And
Right.
then he got a Heisman, so he's a gritty guy, man. He's always had the odds against him. I think right now going to Carolina is going to help him. It helps that team a little bit because they were unsure what they were going to get from Sam Darnold, right?
Right.
PJ Walker, he was a XFL guy, but not NFL guy. So all in all, Derek, I think I still rank them fourth in the conference. I even put the Falcons over them right now.
Right. Really.
And until Matt Rule, who he doesn't have a lot of confidence that's given to him from his owner. Think about it. His owner
Right.
really just doesn't believe in him. So if you have your owner not believing you, man, it makes life a little bit more difficult for you in the long run. And I just think right now, you look at what's happening with the Saints and how they're evolving. And a lot of people say because Tom Brady, of course, Tampa Bay is going to be up there. I don't see it. And I'm not trying to be a homer about it, but I have to be able to analyze what's going on. And I like the acquisitions the Saints have made and the position they're in at this time. So would Baker be able to probably give them an extra 2-3 games to win? Yeah, I really believe that. But I don't know if it's going to be an immediate playoff run for those guys.
Right. So what I hear a lot online and a few analysts here and there shows is that Baker has like this I would say a Drew Brees comparison, and people were saying that can come to fruition this year because he's gonna have a chip on the shoulder because similar to Brees, they brought another quarterback in to pretty much take his place. He was a first round pick. I believe he had a shoulder injury last year that pretty much hampered him last year. And people were saying that him having a chip on the shoulder in Carolina could be an issue, against other teams playing against the Saints, teams like the Saints in that matter.
I think you could say the same about Jameis.
Right.
I think you could say the same about Marcus Mariota. Look how many teams he's jumped around from lately, and Mariota, what, Heisman guy? So, think about it. So, all in all, when you talk about the chip on the shoulder, Breeze had a chip on the shoulder, but he also had a good connection with Sean Payton from the beginning. And I think that really allowed for them to be able to grow faster. Plus, a lot of people forget that Pete Carmichael came from San Diego, where Breeze was in San Diego. and that helped facilitate a lot of the uh, quick, I guess, the synergy that they
Right.
had together. So uh, I don't ever discredit the fact that somebody may have a chip on their shoulder, because that is an extra little juice that you get, but you still have to have a team to help support you win.
Right.
And that's been the question about Carolina, as well as the coaching. Are they prepared to be able to go into the postseason, or even increase their number of wins that they need to reach the postseason?
Right. Yes. It's, he just. I mean, he has the weapons on that team. I know they drafted the Ewan Equinu out of NC State to help with that offensive line, and you hear people saying that they finally draft offensive line to protect their quarterback. That's been a
Mhm.
issue for them the past couple of seasons. Why Christian McCaffrey has been hampered, but we'll see how everything plays out with that situation, and
Yeah.
you know we'll see. All right, we're gonna segue on to the Saints. um, more topics related to the Saints, but this running back situation, man. I just gotta ask you, man. I've talked about it. You've talked about it. Underhill, others, Saints pundits have, talked about this situation. But I want to ask you, what do you think will be the eventual outcome of how the Saints address this situation if Alvin Kamara is suspended?
Yeah.
What in
If
your
he's suspended, I think I addressed this with Mike Detillier on WWL the other night, and Mike made the point that he doesn't believe that Mickey Loomis will feel comfortable going into the season not having a veteran running back, so a
Okay,
trade may commence as a result. I still believe that there are going to be some free agents available during the camp shakeouts,
okay,
but knowing the Saints, they don't want to solely rely on the possibility of signing the guy if
all
they,
right,
because look, they missed out on Sony Michelle, they
right,
missed out on David Johnson, and I watched David Johnson being in Houston. I don't think that was a bad miss out, to be honest with you.
really,
Yeah,
mm,
I'm not knocking him, but David Johnson hasn't been the same player that he was in Arizona. So that's all I'm saying. He wasn't the same player. Sometimes he looked like he was running in quicksand a little bit,
okay,
So I think he did have a few games that were very positive last season, but the season before he wasn't 100%. So all I'm saying is this: I think the Saints could be able to find somebody. Miami has what, a whole stable of running backs right now
yeah,
that are will be competing for some playing time. So could that be an area that they look at trying to make a trade, or is Kenyon Drake that person that his name keeps popping up as a possible trade
right,
uh, player for the Saints? So I don't know, but I do know if Alvin is going to have some difficulty legally, the Saints may make a move and try to make sure that they don't get behind the eight ball, so to speak,
right.
and get somebody in to help them out.
So what about the option that I heard about from Pro Football Focus along with a few others is that they should make a move for Kareem Hunt, but I'm thinking you already give up a first round pick, and I think that if the Browns, if they decide to give up Kareem Hunt, I think they're gonna want at least a second, a third. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Kareem Hunt and Chubb, that's a great little tandem that they're having, man, and
Yeah,
very productive.
right,
Think about it. When Chubb went down, Hunt was right there, and they really didn't miss a beat, so to speak. Yeah, second, third rounder may be something that would be equitable for him. I don't know if, and let's think about this. Do you want somebody like that who has questionable character issues
yeah, I was about
in
to
the
ask you
Saints backfield, right?
that. Right,
And I'm not saying Kareem hasn't gotten over whatever situations and all the other stuff, but I'm just looking at it. as a situation where I think the Saints dodged the bullet with not signing Deshaun Watson,
Right.
right? And now you have your All Pro running back has some issues that he has to deal with. So do you go down that route and be able to acquire a guy that still may be a little bit questionable to some people's standards?
Gotcha. I agree. I agree. And we got a question in the chat from Gundam. He asked, "What's the status on Quan Alexander?"
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Quan, you would think that Quan would be high on the Saints' radar to try to bring back into camp. From talking to John Hendricks, it looks like they are kind of set with the linebackers that they do have, and they like the current stable that they have. Pete Warner, he was very good at tackling. I think it's going to be a do or die season for Zach Bond, right? Will he be able to raise his game, so to speak? But right now, I think the Saints like where they are with the linebacking core. Quan is out there in Miami training with Dr. Reef, who also trains Alvin Kamara, as well as I saw Cam Jordan out there with those guys. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I like the fact Quan has the ability to still cover out of the backfield. I think he still has a lot of juice left. So we'll see. You never know. Injuries can be able to bring him back if he's available and on the market. Derek, did I lose you? All right, guys. Looks like I lost Derek. I'll help run the show for him. You guys got anything in the chat you want to talk about? T Dirty, Gunman. Is it Gundam? All right. All right. So, what do you guys think the Saints should do, especially at linebacker? Do you think Quan is the guy they should be able to bring back into the fold? What's your thought? Post your thoughts. Let's see if Derek can come on back in. Is Traquan Smith on the bubble? Yes. Yes. Saints have a good set of young, talented wide receivers right now. You look at Dejon Dixon. I just interviewed him this past weekend, T Dirty, man, and he's a little playmaker. If they give him a lot of time and reps during preseason to see how he's able to play, he may be one of those guys to crack the roster. You still have Quan Baker. You still have Deontay Hardy, right? That is vying for a spot on that 5-man rotation. If they go with the 5-man, they may go 6 this season. So I like what they have. Traquan still is a good veteran. Still can block. Still can catch the ball. We'll see how he does in training camp. No problem. Any more questions? Derek's trying to get back in. Let's see. I like Quan because of the chemistry he brings. Yeah. Look, Quan and DeMario, they were a great tandem together, man. And I like what he's been able to do. He likes being home. Louisiana is home for him. So I like the fact what he's been able to do, and he acclimated well with the whole crew. Who that family? All right. Answer this. Why is Kevin White still here? Speed right now. And they're just giving him an opportunity to make the team if possible. That's the best thing I can really say, T Dirty, right now. Kevin White, he has talented, you can't really coach speed, right? But the thing is, you got to catch the ball when it's thrown your direction. And he has dropped some of those. Okay. Bring back Quan. Yeah, yeah. All right. Quan is an X factor. All right. Who do you think is another X factor on the Saints team? Could that be Taysom Hill? Could that be Deontay Hardy? Who do you guys believe is an X factor that somebody needs to game plan for? Post your thoughts. Let me see what y'all saying. Who that nation? Kyle T. Mosley, I'm taking over. Saints discussion from Derek Branch. I am here. What you guys got? Let's see. An oyster po' boy got more talent than Kevin White. Oh, wow. And that's hard there, T Dirt. That's hard, man. But, hey, look, Kevin White coming out of college was one of the top wide receivers, right? But the knock on him has been durability as well as being able to catch the football. And we saw that last season where he had a couple of big potential plays that went for naught. All right, we got Derek coming back in.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's all right. I was trying to hold it down for you, man.
All right.
All right, Derek L. Do you think they're waiting on AK? Yeah, they are. August 1st is the date, right, Derek, when he has his hearing?
Yes, August 1st.
Yeah. Let's see. Last question, Gundam. Do you think that James Winston masters his short intimate? Yeah, and I think that's what he's been working on this offseason. If I saw some of the workout videos and if you saw them coming from Super Nola, he's posted quite a few that they've been working on that intermediate game. How do you feel about that, Derek?
I believe he can. It's a area that he's going to improve in this season. I've been hearing a lot of that from a lot of analysts about him getting better at his the short to intermediate passing game. Because I've been, knowing James over the years, I know that he's a more of a down the field guy, three-step, a three-step down the field guy, not really an efficient passer like a Drew Brees when it comes to connecting with the running backs coming out of the backfield. I know the Saints like to do a lot of things like that, connected with the tight ends. Hopefully that's an area he can improve in this season, especially working with a guy like Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, man. If a guy's open, I didn't see him missing much last season, right? Even intermediate passes, I didn't see him missing much. And I think a lot of times it may be overblown from national media, especially when he had that horrible 30-30 year, right?
Right.
But it wasn't horrible as far as the yardage was concerned, right? He had
5,000 yards.
So he was hitting somebody somewhere out there. So that's how I look at it, man. All right. So you guys had some good questions, man. Taysom. All right. That's a good question about him moving to tight end, man. Taysom can possibly be that. I wouldn't say he's going to be a full fill-in if Alvin had issues, but I could see Pete Carmichael utilizing him in some of Alvin's packages against a slot corner or a linebacker, taking advantage of that situation. I can see him in some of the run plays as well. The only thing about Taysom, he's not a patient runner.
Okay.
Think about it. Alvin, he takes his time to let the blockers do they do. Taysom's trying to run past everybody.
Yeah.
he got one speed. He's like my son when he was growing up. You got one speed, man. Slow down. So yeah. So I think he could be an X factor. Demario Davis is always an X factor, guys. And I'm not trying to take over the show, Derek, but I mean, it's just, these guys have some good questions. And Kevin White, man, he's an enigma.
You think he makes a team?
I don't see it. He could be practice squad, veteran, if that's what they choose to do. So we just gotta have a lot of good young talent, man. And I was telling them that Traquan may be pushed by a guy like Dejon Dixon or who's going to be, if they choose to have 5 or 6 receivers, right? They may go
Right.
7. You never know. One of those guys could be more utilized on special teams. You never know. So, but you're going to have to show some versatility if you're that 5, 6 type of guy. What else can you do for the team?
Right. So I want to ask you this as well, about Jameis Winston. So the team, despite they have him as the option as a quarterback, they decide to make a pursuit of Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jameis handled it as a professional, unlike, other quarterbacks. They didn't go on social media and, write, goodbye letters to the city of New Orleans, or, I mean, he could have went on, I'm more than sure that he could have went on somebody's podcast, I Am Bad League, and just explain his frustrations about that situation, but decided not to do that. And so they resigned him to, I believe it's like a 2-year deal, but basically it's a 1-year deal. And I want to ask you, do you see Jameis as the heir apparent to Drew Brees, or will this team be continue as the search will be continue beyond the season?
My old manager used to always tell me this, Derek. I'm always looking for your replacement, right? And in the National Football League, I think a good general manager always has to look for depth. What if this happens? What would be our insurance policy? And you look at it last year, and Jameis went down. You had Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill. Well, the insurance policy wasn't up to snuff, right? So therefore, that's why they were possibly pursuing heavily Deshaun Watson. But Jameis, the only reason why I think that happened because Jameis was still on the mend from his ACL, and they weren't sure. But as a business decision, I don't see I had any issue with it. From a feelings and emotional issue, I think James did, and he did admit to the media that he did have some issues at first about it, and they were able to work through it. Yeah, so he has a 2-year, $14 million deal. And it could be one of those situations after this season, they decided to move on and he decides to move on or whatever. But I don't know, man. You just have that feeling and that sense from the locker room and talking to guys as well as listening to these interviews that you have that this guy is pretty focused, man. And look at the intensity from the workouts that he's been going through. I just saw the Will Lutz and Jameis workout recently. He was also working out without the brace on.
Right.
So you look at all of that, man. I think this young man is really focused on being the man for this season.
So I know Mickey Loomis was stating that there was an opportunity to draft a quarterback in the first round, like a Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis. And I'm paraphrasing here, but I believe he said that they did not value those guys at those picks. So just explain your thoughts on the Saints, passing on a quarterback in that first round.
I don't have any explanation. And the reason why I'm saying this is that, think about it. These guys were in for a quarterback way when Patrick Mahomes was available, right?
Right.
And they really wanted somebody at that time. They saw that the writing was kind of on the wall for Drew. Look, back in 2000, golly, was it 13 or 14? You kind of saw the balls weren't going as far. They were kind of fluttering at times, he had multiple game interceptions and things to that nature. So I think when Sean Payton was evaluating going forward, they needed to have a quarterback. That's why Patrick Mahomes was high on their radar at that time. So now looking at Jameis and where they are, yeah, you always have to have that insurance policy. Was there a young, talented quarterback that made sense for the New Orleans Saints? I don't see. And if there was somebody out there, they would have pulled the trigger. And I don't think they saw that person. Think about how those quarterbacks dropped out of the first round,
Yeah, it's the. I mean, the NFL showed us that how they felt about those quarterbacks when they didn't even. Only one got called. Name got called in the first round. And it was
Yeah,
just I run on every on the other position, but not quarterback to like the third round. So that
yeah,
pretty much showed us. All right.
yeah.
All right.
And
Good.
also, man, look, Derek, it's a copycat league too. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you hear negative press from one guy to the next guy, some of these guys don't really make their own decisions based upon their own logic or whatever. A guy like Malik, he may be blow up in Tennessee. You don't know. You never know with a draft pick, especially a lot of first round draft picks have been suffering with the teams that they originally were with, don't do as well, and they go to a second and third team later in their career.
All right. All right. I'm closing out on this one right here. Um, in your own view, what's the overall ceiling of the Saints this season? Do you see them as a playoff team or a team that could go higher, deep into the NFC playoff picture this season? Because I know there's a lot of expectations
Right.
among the fan base. Not so much any national perspective. I know there's a lot of I've seen these they got these lists coming out of the Saints at have the 21st ranked roster,
Yeah,
and
that was.
there was some
I was
outbursts
like,
on that
how
one.
how you get 21st, man?
Yeah, I don't know over the Jets.
Yeah,
Jets talent is unproven in my opinion. It's some good picks, but it's unproven.
yeah,
But there's been like some excitement among the fan base that we haven't seen in a while. I would say, but I think it was because of them addressing those positions and just something new. But just want to ask you, what's your overall feel? What's your how you feel about the seal of the team?
yeah. Right now, I do project them as a postseason team. They have the opportunity to do so. Everyone has that opportunity, right? Coming out 0-0. But yeah, you
Yeah,
have that opportunity. The Saints have a little bit more depth than in previous years at some critical positions. I still, like we just mentioned, we still have concerns at running back. I still have concerns at tight end, to be honest with you. Yeah, and you have a good core of edge rushers this season that are healthy going into the season, and you still have some good guys on the defensive line. You may want to look at another defensive tackle just to bring in, for camp purposes or whatever. Linebackers are still the question. That's why it's not concerned, but I did kind of wonder why Quan wasn't re-signed, at least to be able to go into camp. You know, um, but the defensive backfield is strong. Think about it. You got some playmakers now, right?
right. It is.
And you have a young guy like Paulson Adebo who's going to mature. You have Roby who's good. You have we know what Lattimore is going to do, and you have Tyrann Mathieu who is a guy that has the ability to make a little bit more plays than the other guys, and you still have PJ Williams who is versatile. He could do a number of things for you. So yeah, and you have Marcus May. So right now, yeah, the Saints look very good on paper. I project them 10 to 11 wins this season.
Right.
But last season, not too many people thought the Bengals were going to be in the Super Bowl.
You're right about that. I didn't.
So that's why you never know, D, what's going to happen with these guys. Who's going to be at the top or at the bottom? Sometimes, I heard Sean Payton say this one time. He said, it all depends upon how healthy your team is, especially after that halfway point of the season, going into that stretch, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you have a healthy team, you could be able to make that stretch, win more games, and possibly get yourself into the playoffs more than a team that's kind of limping their way, right?
Right.
And you got to have a solid person at quarterback, I believe, as well. And that's going to be the question for the Saints, how Jameis is going to be able to perform.
Right. All right, we got two more questions and close it out.
Okay.
But Gundam Max, do you think Coach Dennis Allen's aggressive coaching style can surpass Sean Payton's accomplishments?
Again, we didn't know that the Bengals were going to be in the Super Bowl. No one told me that Kevin Stefanski was going to be a Super Bowl coach. Why not Dennis Allen? That's how I look at it. I think the good thing about Coach Allen, he had that bad time with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm gonna try to be cool about this before they blackball me. But yeah, he had that bad time in Oakland, right? So right now he's learned from it. And look, man, you look at Coach Allen, he looks like he's the man. He walked into that position with a lot of confidence that he is the man and that he's controlling what goes on with that team. So
Right.
looks good so far.
Yeah. I didn't agree with it, man, but there's a lot of people online were saying that Dennis Allen was Sean Payton was holding the team back because they saw the moves that were made by Dennis Allen. I was like, wait, hold up, man. Let's see what Dennis Allen does on the field first before we put Peyton down, man. Peyton been what he was 3 years straight of 13-win seasons.
Yeah.
2 seasons, 13 wins. Following season, 12 wins.
Yeah.
4 straight division titles. Hold on, man.
Let me play devil's advocate. And I asked this question to Jeff Duncan a couple seasons ago, right? Do you believe just getting to the playoffs is just enough for Sean Payton to be considered a Hall of Fame coach? I know he has the Super Bowl, but they have had a lot of postseason collapses. What's your thoughts?
Man, for what he's done, man, and I don't know if another coach has came into a situation like Sean Payton has did and turned like the entire forces of a franchise around.
Okay, I can give you one. Jimmy Johnson. Look how long it took him to get his Hall of Fame.
But the Cowboys, they already had a following. They already had championships. Saints had none of that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I feel you, but they had a drought. They had a long drought in between until Jimmy finally got there and turned that whole program around in a year? Yeah. So, yeah. All I'm saying is this, man. Sean Payton is a great coach, was a great genius. And I think Sean Payton possibly felt as though he's run his course, or he needed, in his spirit, he possibly needed something else to kind of step away, reevaluate what he wanted to do in his life. And look, man, the man just got married too. Probably wanted to enjoy his new wife, his new bride for a little bit. I kept on telling people, I said, look, he just got married. I mean, when you want to hang out. All right, man. So other than that, Derek, look, man, Saints have a lot of talent, and I've seen this team win, lose, been there through the good and the bad times, right? But Sean Payton definitely brought a new sense of winning and purpose to the New Orleans Saints, and I have to applaud him for that.
Right, I agree. Last question right here. Derek L. asks, I saw Cam Jordan recruiting Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
Would he be a good fit?
Don't know. I don't know. But Eric Ebron could be able to help you out a little bit in the passing game, right? And I think the tight ends in the passing game, well, let's see. We don't know. Jawan Johnson is maturing into that position. Well, this is going to be his second season as a tight end, third season overall. Looks like he gained a little bit of weight too, from what I've noticed of him. So those other guys are more blocking tight ends than anything else. Eric Ebron could possibly help them with another dimension, but I think Eric Ebron is in his career, just kind of similar how Benjamin Watson, when he came back to the Saints, was in his career. That type of positioning. Yeah, I think he can be effective. Whether or not Pete Carmichael can be able to utilize him and scheme him well, that's up to him to be said. So, but Cam, I don't know if you were on when you heard me say this, but Cam is out there in Miami with Dr. Reef at athletics training. That's the same place that Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Quan go to. That's the first time Cam has been there. So look for Cam having one of these seasons, man. He looks like he's on.
Oh, man. So we have like another season like that again, like 12 sacks. You think they give him another deal, or they just let it ride out?
Oh, man, that's a hard one, dude, because Saints always going to be facing some sort of cap issue, right? And what do you do with Davenport? Let's say Davenport has a stellar season. Let's say the young man Turner has a stellar season. What do? You can't just keep Cam around, or do you kick him off? And that's for them to say. I think Cam wants to stay with the New Orleans Saints, but also the business side of this NFL is kind of harsh sometimes.
Right.
Fan favorites don't always stay around.
See that with Quan.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to close it out on that. Can you let the folks know where they can find you at on Twitter and you work at Saints News Network, which I have planned?
Well, first of all, man, Derek, man, I like what you do. And I've always admired what you've done. And keep up the great work. I know you're writing and you do your podcasting, man. And always do the Suge Knight thing. If you always want to come over Saints News, come on over, man. But anyway, bottom line is we have some good writers. We have John Hendricks, Bob Rose, Brenda Borland does our fantasy, myself, as well as we have Dr. Carla Antoine, which is the first African-American woman to be able to write for the New Orleans Saints and the Pelicans. So got to give kudos to her. She does more of our community type of stuff. But you can find us at Saints News, and you can find me at KTMOZE, KTMOZ. And also, if you guys are big in HBCUs, I'm also the managing editor of HBCU Legends, as well as the Pelican Scoop, which we just launched during the season this year for Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation as well. Okay?
Okay, appreciate it. All right, that's all we have for y'all for right now. Thank everybody for coming on. Give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know how you feel. You can check us out at strike7sports.com/Saints for the latest content. New Orleans Saints organization. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace. We out. Who that?
Peace. Take care.